Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage. We have now got all the bits around us to sort the car out for the MOT. I'm sure the first thing everybody wants to know about is cat. What did you do? Yes, I've bought a brand new cat. It's an aftermarket cat. I'm very happy with that. It came from these people and I'm going to park it for another day because that's going to distract me. It's too interesting and exciting. I'm going to concentrate today on, these are all the bits I've got to fit, these. So these are the anti-roll bar D-bushes. They're not D-shaped on the Jag. That's standard anyway. They're that shape. So these are the ones that the anti-roll bar rotates within. And if we can get them in without removing the subframe or lowering the subframe, I'll be very happy. If I can do that easy enough, I will swap the drop links on the front and the drop links on the rear, just because that means I've got a complete new set. Everything on the suspension is tickety-boo. The only things that have not been replaced are the springs, the dampers and the shock mounts, all of which are fine even if they're not new. After one of the last videos, people said, oh, show us the new tools that you get, John. Yeah, I spend the money that I make from the channel mainly on tools and the odd part that I want for my cars. But here's the latest tool, and it is a 600mm extension bar. It's a nice sturdy one. It's a BGS, 1/2-inch drive. It's got a knurled area. It's got detents inside there. Why would you want such a thing when you have extension bars and you can join extension bars together to make an equivalent length? Because I knew I'd got to do this job, and for this job I've got to reach down a long way, and being able to actually position the end onto a nut is going to be very valuable to me. What I don't want is all this extension movement, wobble joints, etc. I probably will need to use a wobble joint, so I'm thinking of using that one down low. It just made sense to get something that had the sort of reach I want rather than make it up. Plus I don't own one, and I do like a nice tool. So the first thing I want to do, I'm actually going to lower my car. Let's pop her down to that sort of height. Lift the bonnet, and I'm going to put the bonnet into the service position. So just get a little screwdriver to help me pull back the clips on the bonnet gas rams. One gas ram is not sufficient to hold the bonnet, so be careful. And there we are, service position. Now with the bonnet in this service position, access is massively improved, but you don't want to put your head under there, because anybody catches it, anybody knocks the car, the wind catches it, it's going to have your head off. So you use this hole. And in the glove box of Purdy, my other XK8, I've got a bolt with a ribbon on the end. I'm going to use a bolt with, I've just put a little bit of insulation tape with a bungee cord on. Just put the bolt through that hole and put the ribbon bungee cord somewhere irritating. Just means you won't forget the bolts there and try and close the bonnet and damage the mechanism. But equally, if the bonnet was to try to close, the bolt would jam its movement, and you see I've rested that there. It can't come down and shut on you. So that's that bit done. Now, the anti-roll bar, the easiest way to do the job I'm about to do is to drop the subframe off, but dropping the subframe off is not an easy or quick job. So you'd only do it if it was the subframe was already off, or you had other jobs to do, which meant that would be a sensible thing to do. There's a strap down there, which you can see I've illuminated, going over the anti-roll bar, and that clamps down the rubber. Yeah. But if I pull back, see this hose is in the way, the air box is in the way. If I come over this side, we can look down and I can probably get you a glimpse. It's going to be very difficult. But the same bolt is directly below the ferrule on that hose that I'm shining the light on now. So you kind of go around that, and the bolts are down there. See if I can give you a different angle. Yeah, you should just about be able to see it, or the edge of it in that shot. So hopefully you're beginning to see why I want them in long extension. This is going to be tricksy to film. So I'm going to begin by just improving access over this side. And although I'm not doing a catalytic converter at the moment, you do need to remove this snorkel to do that. So this can come off and stop off for a little while. So we've got an 8mm bolt there. Just going to get a parts tray. Love a magnetic parts tray. Oh, no, of course we've got another bolt there. So we can now pull that off. That's loose. Next, being very careful, you want to remove the high volume breather pipe. So squeeze where the little serrations are on the clip and pull out gently, pulling it only back far enough to get off. Then we've got a 10mm nut here, which is attached to a rubber mount called the Instrumount, brand name. And I'm slacking that off. And that should have the air box loose. You want to disconnect your airflow sensor. There's a little squeeze clip. You just squeeze the two tongs together here and here, and you can pull the wiring off the back of that. And we should be loose. Yeah. There's like a finger on the bottom of this that pushes through a rubber grommet, or should be. And the air intake, here's my tray, goes through the the inner wheel arch was a foam gasket here. So you're just trying to maneuver the whole thing out. I didn't feel anything clipped in low down, so maybe missing an item. But yeah, I should be able to lift this out. There we go. Like so. Interesting, it's making a right racket. Wondering if we've got something on the other end of this that I don't know about. Just going inside the wheel arch, I'm going to pop the hatch open because I could hear something clonking around as I pulled that forward. No, nothing. I thought for a moment maybe somebody had put a cone air filter on the other end of this. Never seen it before, but this is just a pipe going through the wheel arch. But I could hear something clonk, clonk, clonk. Maybe I was just catching the bodywork with it. Don't know. So the whole of that is out. While that's off, we'll be able to do a few little checks before it gets returned to see if we've got any performance improvement we can make. Now this is not fully seated home, so there might be a chance of a small air leak there. And there's some deep marks here which we'll investigate to find out whether they're actual holes or they're just scars. So I'll put this to one side. I don't think these are going to give me too much grief, but that won't stop me putting plenty of penetrant on them. So I've put a wobble joint with a 10mm socket. Let's get down there. This is just going to be a convenient position, and obviously I can put plenty of downward force on the bolt. There we go. Going for number 2. These are a lot tighter than I thought. There we go. There he is. So they're both out. I'm going to reach around this bracket, take off the cap. There we go. There it is, simple strap. No shape, no front and rear. And we're going to go down again. And I'm just going to take the bush and slide it out if I can. But it's in a seat. It'll be a lot easier to do when the other one is out. I think I'm going to leave that there because I can lift the anti-roll bar and I can see exactly how things fit rather than wondering how things were fitted. So we'll leave that one there for now. Right, so around the other side, I'll pull the dipstick out because that will distract the camera. Definitely going to be able to get on at least one of them. My long extension and wobble. Let's have a feel around in there. So that one, yep, easy to get on. so we will be able to undo that one. What about this other one? Got this pipe here. It's a little in the way. Come on. Yeah. I'm on. So I'll be able to slacken them. Where I'm going to struggle is putting them back in. So I think what I'm going to go for is slackening them off and see if I can get my hands in from underneath to fiddle with the bracket, sort of inside the cavity, the engine area, and reach over the edge. You'll see. Anyway, let's see if I can slacken them. That's one. Down the front again. There. Crikey! Who did this up? There we go. Let's get you back out of there so you can kind of see my rig. So that's great. 600mm bar just brings everything up above the engine level. And yes, with a single wobble, you can get to all the bolts straight down there. I'm not going to pinch my light. And because they're now slack, what I'm hoping is I can come around here, work on this one and learn. Once the learning's been done, we can do some more of it by feel. Yeah, that just lifts now. Look, that's really slack. So it's got a plain side, the splits to the front, and a plain top. So let's just lift and pull. There's a load of flaky paint and get this out. Now, so this is not something I could feel was at fault. Certainly it's got a little bit of wear to it, but I really don't think it's that disastrous. So I hope we're going to see some difference. But that's the way it's installed. That's at the bottom. Well, if we base our opinion on the sort of step height here, and we assume that that's OE, and this is at least manufactured to OE standards, then this is evidently deeper. I offer these up and look down them. So we'll look. Yeah, it does appear 0.5 mil smaller bore, and here you can see proper wear. See where the clampers bit into them. Look, it's starting to fall apart. So let's see how easy it is to reinstall this in its correct position. I'm going to use a little bit of this. This is caliper pin grease. But, you know, why is it important? It's a grease that you would use around rubbers. So it's not going to damage rubber seals, rubber bushes, etc. So what I want to do is just put a little bit in here. Looks like Vaseline. May be the same as Vaseline for all I know. But it's what I use on caliper pins. And I'm just going to put a little bit here because I've got to slot that into a notch in the subframe. I don't want it gripping and giving me grief. So we'll give that a go and see if we can get it back in. Okay, so because the bracket's loose on the other side as well, I can move this about a lot. Let's just offer it in. I can only get one hand in at a time, so flattening it out. And then let's lift, yes, just spin it into position. Yeah, I feel like pop into the socket in the bottom. There we go. That's very good. So that's in. And we'll leave that one as is. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the car just enough to get underneath. I've got a history with the rafters, so I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to grab myself a 10mm spanner in case it's handy, and I'm going to take my lube and my new bush underneath the car. Okay, look, there's the anti-roll bar, and I can lift it. I can get my fingers just to that bolt there at the front. Can I get my fingers to the bolt at the back? Or actually the front of the car. Oh, just. So, I don't think it's going to be possible to get a spanner on it. No. Just the angles are wrong. Might be able to get a crow's foot adapter on it, but we'll see what we can do without first. Okay, so I've got this nice and loose, but what I'm thinking is, because I can get my fingers nicely to the bolt at the bulkhead side, what I'm going to do, I think, is go up above and maybe slacken the back one off even more, because at a push I'll be able to get it out with my fingers. Unless I can get this bush to come out sideways. I don't think so. No. So yeah, I'm going to slacken the bolt at the radiator side just a fraction more, and then probably undo the one on the bulkhead side fully, and I'll be back. I'll leave you here. Okay, let's see what we got. So the bolt is out on this side. Let's get that out of the way. What have I done with the other one? Is it still in? It's funny how the anti-roll bar is, the paint's, or powder coating probably, is in perfect condition this side of the subframe because oil misting generally the engine compartment, and in the wheel arch there is no coating left on it whatsoever except the bits that are flaking off in my hand. Okay, that's out. Just feeling around in case there's any debris underneath the anti-roll bar. But no, that feels good. So again, the rubber's decayed, but it doesn't look that disastrous. Now I've got the new one. I put some of the lube inside it by first popping it over the anti-roll bar, I know the pictures might not be brilliant on this one, folks, but you can see about as much as I can. There we go. Now, as long as I can get this bolt back in from the top, we should be in the pound seats for getting this whole task done inside, what, half an hour, start to finish, which is a bit of an achievement. I think I've got it started. Just can't quite get my fingers so that I can twist from above with one hand. So I'm using one finger on one hand and one finger on the other hand. Oh, got it. That's good. Brilliant. I mentioned from above the ducting for the alternator. There's the ducting for the alternator. That should be clipped on the front, but it's a bit disturbed at the moment. Now I might have to unscrew it to clip it on, but that clips up there and it's open at the bottom. Scoop takes the air up. If it was the other way up, you'd collect water and push it up there. Okay, so as long as I can get this back without disturbing the bolt so much that it comes off, we should be there. I'm going to give them a tweak. I'm not going to make them as tight as they were. Come on socket. Ah, don't want to lose my socket down there. Yes, got them off again. And that one. And the second one we can actually get at. So I've got the whole bracket in my hand. And done. And that is the 2 D bushes on the anti-roll bar changed. Obviously just a little bit of putting things back away now, but first part of that is done. Join me next time and I'll hopefully be doing just as easy a job doing the drop links. If you're interested in any of the gadgets, gizmos and tools that I use in my videos, then very often I'll put a link to relevant items in the description below the video, but you can also go to amazon.co.uk/shop/to-the-garage, and that will give you the To The Garage storefront. These are not things I'm selling, it's just a link to all of the Amazon based items that I've bought over the years which are relevant to the channel. Nice little feature, thank you very much Amazon. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos.